This is the Epoch Times.
Welcome to Epoch Audio, showcasing the best journalism covering news, culture, and society, addressing issues overlooked or avoided by other media. For the text version of this and more articles providing truth, tradition, and hope, please go to theepochtimes.com.
China Critic says he's the target of Deepfake Spamouflage attack by Beijing. By the Canadian press. The YouTube video appears to show a person who looks like Liu Xin making unfounded remarks about Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, saying, among other things, that he is a man who loves porn. But Mr. Liu, 60, a prominent online critic of China's government who lives in Burnaby, BC, says he didn't say anything of the sort. The video is a deepfake creation, according to Mr. Liu and an Australian security think tank that analyzed it, and is part of an extensive spamouflage campaign that Global Affairs Canada believes is connected to China. The video and others making accusations of criminal and ethical violations by Canadian politicians were posted on the social media accounts of MPs across the political spectrum, Global Affairs says, including Mr. Trudeau and opposition leader Pierre Poilievre. But Mr. Liu says it was he, and not the maligned politicians, who was China's main target in the campaign, which Global Affairs says involved a bot network posting thousands of comments and links to the fake videos. Mr. Liu, who runs a Chinese-language YouTube channel with 164,000 subscribers under the name of Lao Dong, says their attack on me is extremely malicious and these fake videos have been taking an emotional toll on me. He also has more than 300,000 followers on X, formerly known as Twitter. Mr. Liu says he suspects the primary goal of the campaign was to undermine him in the eyes of the public and Canadian politicians. In an interview conducted in Mandarin, Mr. Liu says, "If Mr. Trudeau is standing in front of me, I want to tell him, this isn't me. Both of us are victims of a spamouflage campaign deployed by the Chinese government," adding that he's been under tremendous pressure as a result. Global Affairs describes spamouflage, a combination of spam and camouflage, as a network of new or hijacked social media accounts that are used to post propaganda messages. A Global Affairs spokesman said in an email on October 31st that its officials briefed Mr. Liu about the fake videos on October 23rd, confirming they were referring to him in a statement that instead calls him a popular Chinese-speaking figure. The earlier statement says that in addition to discrediting the Canadian politicians named in the videos, the campaign likely seeks to silence criticism of the CCP, or Chinese Communist Party, by getting MPs to distance themselves from Mr. Liu and discouraging wider online communities from engaging with Mr. Liu. It says the campaign culminated in September. The Australian Security Policy Institute, based in Canberra, released an analysis on October 24th that says the spamouflage campaign is very likely linked to the Chinese government. The analysis says, in the case of Liu, and in addition to attempts to intimidate and silence him, the new campaign might also be trying to shape Canadian politicians' perceptions of him, as well as seeking to undermine his work and public reputation. The Institute says the videos falsely depicting Mr. Liu are an example of deepfake technology made with the help of artificial intelligence. It says the videos are sophisticated and use the same backdrop as Mr. Liu's authentic videos. But it says there are telltale signs of deceit. In one video, the chin of the speaker becomes misaligned with the face, and in all the fakes, Mr. Liu's face is relatively devoid of wrinkles or expression. There are also editing glitches, the security group says, while noting that Mr. Liu had never uploaded a similar video about Mr. Trudeau to his YouTube channel. The Institute says, if confirmed to be a product of the Chinese government, it would be the first publicly unearthed example of the CCP using an AI-enabled face swap in its internationally focused information operations and disinformation campaigns. Mr. Liu says there is a Chinese saying that describes the malicious tactic to kill with a borrowed knife. He says they are trying to intimidate and harm me by trying to get the Canadian government to turn their back on me. I was once helpless and frustrated. However, I managed to hang in there by clinging to the belief that the truth will come out in the wash, although it takes time. Mr. Liu says he suspected the Spamouflage campaign could also be intended to interfere with Canadian elections by discrediting politicians via fake videos. He says it's okay to criticize a country's policy, but it's really hostile and despicable to make false allegations against a politician's personal life and morals without any evidence. Mr. Liu has been a vocal critic of China's government since immigrating to BC from China in 2002. He says the Chinese government had been spreading misinformation about him for a long time. In its analysis, the Australian Institute says Mr. Liu sometimes spreads unverified claims, such as accusing China of assassinating Canadian Sikh figure Hardeep Singh Nijjar to frame India and create discord between India and the West. Canada's government has connected India to the attack on Mr. Nijjar in Surrey. Mr. Liu says he got this inside scoop from sources in China, but didn't elaborate. He's also made unverified claims alleging extramarital affairs and other behavior by China's leaders. Mr. Liu says, because of my work and what I've been doing, the Chinese Communist Party has put me at the top of their overseas blacklist. Mr. Liu says his income fluctuates based on the popularity of his videos. Sometimes he can make $20,000 in a month, although the average is $10,000. He splits the income with a team of several people. He said you won't get super rich from doing YouTube videos, but you can make a living. He says he'll continue to criticize Chinese authorities. Quote, I'm doing meaningful things while making money, so why not keep doing it? Unquote. The Chinese embassy in Ottawa did not respond to an emailed request for comment. Thanks for listening to Epoch Audio. This was China Critic says he's the target of deepfake Spamouflage attack by Beijing, written by the Canadian Press, and read for you by Chris Rod.
For more Epoch Times articles in text, please visit theepochtimes.com.
This is the Epoch Times.